Welcome back to Modern Mommies here on TweetTalk.tv. I am your co-host, Alexis Ann Moore, mother of a beautiful 3-year-old child, and, well, you've been watching me. You know who I am. With me, I've got my lovely co-host, Jennifer Perry. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so good to be back with you today.
You too.
And Jennifer has some really interesting stuff that she's going to bring to us today. I am really excited to hear about it and kind of scared as well, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. We have Christopher Witecki, the Magician of Soul Garden. How are you doing today, Christopher?
I'm good. It feels good. The earth feels good today. How about you?
I loved your show today.
Oh, with Master
Well, I love your
Feather?
show every day. But,
oh, Namaste today?
No, your Namaste today.
Oh, thank you.
I was busy getting ready for the show for the show with One Feather today, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. But yeah, I enjoyed the Namaste today.
Oh, no worries.
And Mary, we've got.
Go ahead. Sorry.
We've got Mary. Here I go again. Neva. Mary Neva is with us today, and how are you doing today, Mary?
Oh, very good. It's a great day outside. It's wonderful.
It is. It is a really jolly day today. Well, it's wonderful to have you with us. And today on Modern Mommies, we are going to be talking about, we're going to be sharing tips and tricks for modern mommies on a budget. I have a short blog that I wrote on that subject, but we're going to be going much more in depth today on the show in that and sharing some tips and tricks from our Facebook viewers, and Mary is going to be able to speak to us on that extensively because you have 11 brothers and sisters, is that right?
That is correct. 6 girls
11.
and 6 boys.
Wow, that's interesting. So I'm sure you have experienced stretching a dollar in a large family.
Oh, when we were younger, I don't know how my family did it because my dad wasn't working all the time. So it was amazing, but we all got fed. It was wonderful.
Well, that's wonderful. That's always wonderful. We're also going to be talking about, and this is what I'm looking forward to simply for, I think it's for anticipation's sake. I'm kind of scared of what we're about to learn. Jennifer Perry is going to be discussing, let's see, what did you call it? My teen is doing what? We're discussing teen trends and myths. Yeah.
Really
yeah.
alarming trends that really our teenagers or teenagers' friends are doing today. And there were some things, I guess, kind of a tame teenager, but there were some things that really kind of shocked me.
Yeah, I'm scared. I mean, I was creative. I had fun when I was a teenager, but I also really loved myself a lot, so I think that was an important part of it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's totally the key, is loving yourself.
And then, of course, we're going to get to our segment of Mommy the Mommy, one of my favorite segments, and then we're going to wrap it up with our Hot Daddy of the Week, which is also one of my favorite segments. It's a lot of fun, and I love honoring hot daddies for being great dads, because nothing's hotter than that. So,
absolutely.
All right. Well, so I want to just jump into it, and we're going to maintain the theme of wacky teens, right? And discuss. You mentioned that there was something going on in the news this week about something some wily kids have been up to. What's going on, Jennifer?
Well, there's a debate going on between parents right now, and the question is should your teens be allowed to try drugs or alcohol and experiment in your home under your parents' supervision? You know, and there are two sides kind of to the story. The people who are for it say that you should let your kiddos do that because it teaches them to drink responsibly. Maybe it helps with binge drinking. Lots of parents have said it provides a safe environment to be able to try alcohol and drugs. They're not putting themselves in unsafe environments or situations. And then you have the other side that's saying it's against the law. If you allow your kids to do that, you're teaching them that the law doesn't really matter, and that doesn't work. Both sides had studies behind it. The For side talked about how if you look at like cannabis use in the Netherlands, the cannabis use among the people who live there is pretty low. Most of the people who are smoking weed in Amsterdam are the people who are travelers and going over there to visit the country to be able to smoke weed in public. The against side talks about there was a study that they did between Australia and America, and they studied teenagers for 3 years, because in Australia and Germany there are places that there's no drinking age. And in those areas where there was no drinking age and the parents were drinking with their kids and, you know, setting up that safe environment, the people who are saying no says that the study showed that those teenagers that started drinking young continued on to drink more in life compared to our American counterparts who started drinking later on in life. And so that's kind of the two sides of thought on should you allow your teenager, you know, should you encourage them to stay at home? You know, if you want to try a drug, if you want to go and get drunk, you need to come here and do it in the house so I can teach you responsibly how to do it.
I'm so glad that my son is 3. Because I have conflicting feelings on that myself. I mean, I've got like personal feelings, and then I have professional feelings on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have memories of being a teenager.
Right.
And I mean, there's a fine line. There's a fine line, I think, with the whole permissive thing, because if you do not have an open relationship with your kids to be able to discuss and be open about that kind of stuff, then like the hiding it, that's where you really get into dangerous territory. Right. I know that I drank when I was a teenager, and some of the locations were not very cool.
Right.
So, and my mom did let me with her. So, I don't know. So I got to experience both, but I also got to experience my friends who didn't have such, I guess, self-awareness at a young age, and they got into all kinds of crap. I mean, I showed up for a party or two, but then I got out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's my personal feeling on that.
What are the statistics
I don't know.
Jennifer? What do the statistics say, Jennifer? I didn't quite catch the statistic. Like, if you hold your kid back, they become an alcoholic. What was the statistic?
Well, what one place was saying is that if you don't teach your kids how to drink responsibly, and you kind of teach that in the home, they're gonna, when they get older and go to college and there's no boundaries there, they're gonna go crazy and they're never gonna have known how to drink responsibly. Maybe they'll start binge drinking and all of those things. Now, a study between Australia and America, what that actually showed was Americans who aren't able to start drinking until they're 21, they had a lower rate of alcoholism and being exposed to dangerous environments and situations compared to those kids in other countries where there really is no drinking age.
So our U.S. 21 years of age is actually working.
That's what that study showed. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I myself actually didn't do any drugs or alcohol in high school at all. I actually managed to about 18. It was like my senior year in high school, of like almost the last month I tried something, and I was stunned actually when I tried it. I was like, oh my God, this I can't believe it. So I had and with my son, he was naturally doesn't want, and he's 18. He's turning 18 this year. And his generation is very interesting. When he was a kid, I mean, like he was a baby, I would offer him candy. He'd be like, no, thank you. I was like, it's candy. He had like some sort of like natural ability to say no. So like his generation seems to be cool with it. But we did have the talk when he was like 16 about it, and I told him the truth that it will prevent his penis from growing, and he'll end up with a small penis. So he was pretty convinced early on not to do anything. But I was also talking about pharmaceuticals too. I was like, but I think he naturally doesn't actually really care for it. So I don't know what he'll be like when he's ready for it.
Mhm.
But for
Now,
myself, I have to say I probably overdid it because I did overdo it. Like because I was pretty much didn't drink until I was about age 28 or 29, and then when I started, I overdid it. And
That's
maybe if
what
I'd started earlier, I would.
that's what proponents of allowing your kids to do it at the house are saying. That those, and I wasn't a big drinker either in high school either, but when I went to college, I was like, "Wah!" And so
That's everyone, yeah.
that's kind of what they're saying, the
see,
foresight.
that's funny. That's when I got boring. I got boring as soon as I was out of high school. I moved out, and I was working and going to college, and I was done. I did it all already when I had nothing to lose, thank God. But I'm feeling on one hand that if you happen to be the parents that I saw that were like really, hey, let's party together, like that's different.
Right.
Those are parents that are not, they're going to be friends and not parents. And you can be both, but make sure that you're being a parent first. So if you're
Mhm.
being there to say, okay, do you see how that feels? That's when you need to slow down. Hey, did
Right.
you notice that you're slurring? Did you notice that you just started acting like a jerk? That's when you need to stop. Okay,
Right.
then that would be responsible. I'm feeling though like professionally that you do not deal with your issues when they come up if you are drunk. Okay, so most people with substance abuse issues, when they quit doing whatever they've been doing, if they do it a lot, you are at the same emotional maturity as you were when you started in the first place. So if we have teenagers that are being allowed to have even one drink at night with their parents, they're not dealing with the emotional stuff that's coming up. And that's at a young age.
You're
That's
certainly
not.
setting that, yeah. Well,
Right.
I
Well,
mean, it doesn't start that way. That's the sneaky thing about alcohol. When you start with alcohol, you're not drinking to forget. You're not drinking because you're upset. You're drinking because it's fun. But
Yeah.
then, like, over time, it starts to, you subconsciously find yourself wanting to go to a party when you don't feel good. And that's the beginning of where it starts to. But I think personally myself, like, I'm a parent that believes in the way my son sees me. So I hide all my stuff from my son. He doesn't see the drinking. He doesn't see any of the crazy thing. None of the stuff that I won't see on camera. But I keep it all away from him because I figure he'll see it on his own. And I feel like I remember when I was a kid, my father quit smoking and then he started smoking again. Like he quit and then he stopped. And then he went back to it, and it was like seeing that was such a disturbance in my force that I just thought to myself that I want to always put out an image for my son of not, like give him the alternative view, even if it's true or not. Perception is reality. It doesn't matter. He can, like 25, realize you drank the whole time. Like, oh shit, I was never sober, son. That'll be later. But I
yeah,
think so. I don't think it's good to party with the kids. That's what I'm boiling down to. I personally don't think it's good, and I don't think kids need to be drinking in high school. There's so much time. I really do think it stunts your brain.
it does. It honestly does.
Yeah.
There's research on that, and that's what we teach kids now, is that your brain doesn't stop growing until you're 21. And so if you're taking alcohol or doing all kinds of things like that, you're changing the way that your brain grows and develops.
Yeah.
It's like, you can teach first graders this. It's like giving a plant Dr. Pepper. It's going to change the way that plant grows and develops. Same concept with alcohol.
Well,
So-
one thing I wanted to interject is that being from a family of 12 children, and I can't imagine us growing up and watching my dad, unfortunately was an alcoholic, watching him drink and then have him being given the Hamm's beer or the, whatever to every one of us kids. I mean, he'd be out there buying cases by the time we were teenagers, and we wouldn't know a good thing from that because we saw the way he reacted when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he stopped it's hard to tell your children when you stop that it's not good for you after you've already given it to them.
Right. Because kids believe what you do, not what you say. And so they watch that.
That's yeah. Uh, I'm really honest with my students when I'm teaching because of the nature of what I'm teaching, self-awareness and all of that. If I'm teaching them these things and then I look like a wreck on the inside, they look at me like, you are so full of shit, you know? So it's best for me if I just admit to them, hey, by the way, I'm kind of a wreck today. So, and then they're like, oh, okay, I can trust you. You're not full of shit. They know. They smell it.
They do. They know.
So I was just pulling up. We are also discussing Mommies on a Budget today. And I wrote up a great blog with, guess what, one of my favorite smoothie recipes, which I am constantly talking about the awesomeness of smoothies. But I have one that I make for myself every morning, and I put all of this stuff in it, and like it is basically liquid gold. And I see smoothies are costing me, and it's like maybe $5 for a big blender of it. But the amount of nutrition that's going on in that smoothie, I mean, having us drink that, I basically know that our bodies are filled. And if we kind of have a skimpy lunch, it's going to be okay because we have all this great stuff going on. Finding ways to, on the cheap, to make sure that I have all those bases covered for my son is a big deal because he's growing. So anyway, I've got this blog. I'm not going to go through the ingredients for you, but you can go check it out, everybody, on the Modern Mommies page on soulgarden.tv. But we also have some really great tips from our Facebook viewers, which I was just kind of looking at. And Mary, you got on there and you shared some. Why don't you share them with us live?
Oh, she's muted.
I think you were talking about something that I really appreciated very much, and I think is very helpful for moms taking their kids to the store, is to make out a list and stick to it. So if it's not on the list, we're not getting it.
Oh, that's so hard.
And I think that when you're looking at that list, you've kind of got to put blindfolds on. Even you could tell yourself, well, it's okay because it's on sale. It's 2 for something. Just don't, because you set yourself to spend $100, and you're going to be walking out of there spending $200 if you got the sale items and what looked good.
Mm-hmm.
And also one thing I really have come to myself enjoy, and I feel that I donate to Goodwill, but I went in their stores and they are absolutely fabulous with their clothes and the things that people donate. Never thought you would get that quality at Goodwill, but it's what people donate. And you know, they've got furniture and sometimes and dishware, pots and pans, books, and wow, you know, you can go in there coming out with 10 bags full of stuff and have spent maybe $20.
Wow.
Especially for Halloween, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Goodwill, since Halloween's coming up, I'll interject. Goodwill is the secret Halloween store. On a budget. On a budget, seriously. Like, son, you're going to be a homeless person this Halloween. And you can find, like, the golf pants with, like, you know, like, whatever, yeah.
You know, that reminds me that garage sailing with my son. So my son is, well, I say he's 3. He's going to be 3 at the end of this month. And we go garage sailing, and we have a lot of fun because he just plays with random kids. And then we leave after 20 minutes and go find more random kids at another house. And we find toys. Like the toys he finds at the garage sales are maybe $1 to $5 was the biggest investment. And that was a plastic motorcycle that he runs through the yard like light speed, and he's been playing with that thing every day for over a year. $5. But I go to the store and I buy like fancy schmancy toys. Nothing. He doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I already figured that one out in 5 minutes. I don't need to play with that anymore. Garage sales, very good for kids.
That's a good one.
And for their clothes. I mean, my God, my kid wears a different pair of size of shoes every week. Every week.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We bought, and when they're so little, they go through it so fast. So we bought all of our kids' stuff when they were little at like resale shops, Once Upon a Child, and places like that.
And they're hardly ever worn out because nobody else's kids wear them that long either. When we get hand-me-downs from friends, we're constantly passing hand-me-downs around. If the pair of jeans have a hole in them, I know that like maybe 5 kids wore those pants already because they don't have time to wear out, you know. Oh, he wore them for 2 months.
It's true. Growing up with even my son, I did recognize that. Like his shoes were always cute and perfect, not because we kept them clean, but because his freaking feet were bigger every week.
Yep.
And like you just go through shoes. I know. Remember when we had the baby too? It was like we had people give you all kinds of gifts. Some people are foresight. They give you like the shoes the kids will be in 5 years. So you eventually come into those pair like, oh, you finally fit these.
Yes. Well,
And
you
that's
know.
what's, sorry.
Go ahead, Mary.
That's what's good about being the oldest girl, is that all my
You got all the
baby
new
sister got everything. She said, "Come on, Mary, why were you wearing this stuff?" But it was great.
Well, and you know those resale shops, you can sell those kids' clothes back that your kids never wore, and they give you money for that too, or credit off of more clothes. And so that's another way that mommies can save money.
I've got a great tip from a friend here, Corey Beckner. She makes her own laundry detergent and dishwasher detergent, and things like that are really great. I mean, I actually forgot about that. I make all my own stuff like that. Yeah, vinegar in a water bottle with some drops of lavender and diluted with water. That's like a house cleaner right there, and it smells good, and it's non-toxic, and it's so cheap. There's so many things like that you can do. My son, I use for him this special organic shampoo that's like maybe $10-11 for the bottle itself, but it's an all-over body wash shampoo, and we both use it. It lasts forever, so I don't have to buy all these different bottles of things. But definitely making your own is great.
That is a good idea.
How do you make she makes her own house cleaners?
Yeah, vinegar and water. Vinegar is an antibacterial. It'll clean anything and cleans windows. Let's see. Even there is. I wasn't prepared, but there is a mommy blogger out there who has. I've used her recipe for cleaning a mattress. You know, if your baby has an accident, and for like urine stain removal from a mattress using, I think it was baking soda, peroxide, and water. Don't quote me on that. Go look it up. But basically, just those few ingredients you have in the house. And you can do anything like that. I mean, any kind of cleaning product, seriously, vinegar, water, and some drops of lavender oil to make it smell good. And maybe a splat, like a few drops of dish soap. And that'll clean anything. I mean, not anything. I'm just saying it'll replace all that junk under your kitchen sink.
The cleaners. Yeah, I had a friend, Zen, that
baking soda in my bathroom to scrub the sink and the bathtub, and I use my fingers when I'm in a hurry in the sink, and I'm not worried about it eating my skin. You know, it's nice. I'm done.
I had a friend on Facebook, Zen, who said that they noticed around their house that they use too much of everything, and so they kind of made a decision as a family to cut back on everything by half. So use half less toothpaste than what you use. Use half less ketchup of what you use. And they noticed over time, they didn't even really notice they were using half, but they were saving a lot of money. And so just the idea of cutting back a little on everything ends up saving a lot.
That's interesting. That makes total sense. I mean, you'd save half.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's just like a compulsive thing where you just don't even realize it and you just smear toothpaste all over your toothbrush. Oh, Corey also said adding beans to meals for a filler. That's a really great idea. I mean, you don't have to fill the pot with, you know, ground beef or something. You can use beans and it's got great texture and fills you up. That's a good idea. Thanks, Corey.
Isn't that better for you too?
Yes.
Beans.
Well, I don't know. It depends. It depends on the bean and the meat, really. That's another show. That's another show. All right. Well, hey. So, any viewers out there? This is an important topic, and I'm going to touch on this topic again in my blogs now and then because it's just always something that's great to know about. Especially, I'm a single mom, so I'm always finding tips like this. So if any of you have any out there, share them on in the comments section. We've got our own Modern Mommies group on Facebook, or you can find us individually there, or really in the comments section on the videos, tweettalk.tv. I want to hear what you do at home, and let our viewers learn from you.
Absolutely.
And that also brings us to, do we have a question of the week this week?
If y'all will just tell us any of your money-saving tips, then I think that we can kind of compile all the answers together.
All right.
I like that one.
Hey, everybody. So I am a little bit flustered today, I guess. I'm more like I've got mom brain big time. My son was sick for a couple of days. We did this show about about nutrition, and I'm just talking about how my son never gets sick, and he's been sick twice since. He had a cold and then a stomach bug, and I haven't slept in days. So forgive me for kind of, you know, just I'm like hanging out on here today.
Well, you know what? I won't keep you waiting anymore. Let me tell you some of the crazy stuff that our teens are doing. And it was interesting. Before the show, I told some people about these, and I didn't have one person say, oh, I've never heard of that, which I guess means, ooh, because there were some that I was kind of shocked about. But I think it shows how much really our teens are being exposed to and really how much they are doing out there. So first one I have for you, Snapchat. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's an app that you can send a picture to friends and things like that. It stays up for only 1 second to like 10 seconds, and then the picture goes away forever is what its whole stick is. But the problem is that our kids have gotten savvy about it, and we have teenagers who are sending pictures to their boyfriends naked in provocative situations or positions. And our kids have gotten smart, and even though it goes away in like 10 seconds, they're grabbing other people's phones and taking a picture of the picture, or they're screenshotting the picture that you sent them. And so our kids think, oh, I can take a picture of whatever, I'm safe, it'll be gone. But in reality, it's not gone. Those their friends are taking pictures of those things.
So what's disturbing to me here is these teens sending nudie pictures of themselves to each other. I mean, somebody needs to tell them, hey, you might think this is fun. Oh, I'm cute because I'm sending a picture of... No, that's not smart. And when you're older, you'll understand that's just not the thing to do.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Mommies, check your kids' phones. Yeah, it's not good. That's almost a whole other show we could talk about in like
sexting,
technology, safety, all of that stuff. I think the main thing to do is, moms, you should be checking your kids' phones. What are they texting? What accounts do they have? You know, because if they're sending pictures like that, you might want to have a conversation with them. That's what I'm saying about that.
Seems to be pretty automatic. It seems to be pretty. I don't know. I don't know where my son is with it, but like their generation, it's like part of. I can't even imagine sharing nude pictures of myself in high school with someone over the phone. Like
No.
I can't even imagine that. But I am amazed. I'm amazed at guys who have girlfriends' pictures on their phone, and guys be like, "Look at her." They're like, "Oh my God."
Mhm.
It's just a new day. But maybe it's kind of like the
Wow.
60s where, like in the 60s women were topless and doing some crazy stuff, hanging out, and everyone was cool with it. It wasn't a big deal.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What?
It's not that. It's lack of self-respect is what's going on right now. It's absolutely not the 70s. This isn't from some like following some love revolution and let's be free. These are kids making really dumb choices and not honoring themselves. That's really scary.
Mhm. The intent, yeah, it is a little bit different from where they're coming from.
Yeah. It's
These kids are
interesting.
going to be making decisions for us one day, and if we're allowing a culture of teenagers to have such disrespect for themselves,
Well, and a lot of it's coming from their role models because I'm not going to say names, but there are famous people out there who have sex tapes out there. They have all of these tapes that our kids and teenagers are seeing, and so it's almost desensationalizing that and making it more of the norm to our kids today to say, hey, it's no big deal to videotape me and my boyfriend doing this or to take pictures of me doing this. And so it's kind of desensitized the kids, which is even scarier.
I
So,
think their imagination wants to see. I don't know. I think everybody wants to see what they would look. There's a part of everyone that wants to see what you would look like or whatever. But that's just genuine inner child, like, right? There's that, and a lot of times I think that's what girls do. But I gotta tell you, like, go to plentyoffish.com. Like 98% of the pics are some chick in a mirror. Like everyone selfies it now.
mm-hmm.
I always feel
Like
like
a
a
whole
weirdo
selfie
doing
universe, and then there's like. It's I don't know. Like the kids, the truth is, I think what'll happen though is like let the kids trade as many nudes as they want. It gets old.
that.
It gets old. You're
Yeah.
gonna want like more than that.
Mm-hmm. But
I mean, you
before
eventually
our
burn out on it. You can just only see so many.
Yeah, I just wonder before or after it ruins their career or the effect
Yeah.
that it has.
Or
Underage
launches it.
nudies. Underage nudies.
Well, underage
That's
nudies is
great.
actually. I'll tell you that's true. That's the first argument I'm totally on. You're right. It's like that's hold on, underage. Just to keep predators and not feed predators with raw meat. We should say no,
Right.
underage. You shouldn't do it. I agree.
Right.
I personally, my son is so shy. His generation is so shy. But I see so many pictures of girls and stuff out there. I'm like, oh my god! And the girl took it.
Right. Oh yeah. And we're talking 6th, 7th, 8th graders. This is where this starts.
Whoa.
So by the time you're in high school, that's old hat.
Mm.
Yes, I mean.
Those bodies look the same anyways. The girls and the boy, that's pretty young. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's scary. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll go on. Next thing that's out there is something that's called Spice or K2. Some people you'll hear them maybe as bath salts. And it's totally legal. They sell it in like headshots, and they sell it as like an incense or a potpourri. And our kids are smoking it. You can go in there and buy it at any age. They say that it's similar to the effects of marijuana, but it's legal. But really, it's a completely different substance, and it's causing huge problems in our teens, like heart attacks and liver damage, and they have like huge suicidal rages and things like that. And but
What
it's
is it?
legal.
It's bath salts. Is that what you said?
You'll hear it like that or K2 or Spice. But
K2.
it's like a potpourri incense.
You probably don't have it there in California where you can legally smoke marijuana, well,
Right.
with a medical license. But basically, it's like an herb that has this chemical compound sprayed onto it, and so that way it's like, yeah, we're smoking pot, but you're not. You're smoking some kind of weird dried plant with chemicals sprayed on it. And I feel very strongly about this. Parents out there, like, please listen to this. So there is a Facebook page. There's a girl here in Houston named Emily. I didn't know that this was going to be on your list, or else I would have prepared myself better. But she smoked it, and she was a very gung-ho, full-of-life person. My friend's daughter And the next thing you know, she is in a coma and like brain damage, and is now many years later finally having enough function to function, just to function. Okay, but like even just that took so much. So it took years of physical therapy. So they've started their own Facebook page about stopping, not smoking that stuff, and I wish I knew. So friends out there listening, I'm going to find out what that page is and put a link on somewhere. Maybe write a blog about it. I'll write a blog about it. But this is very serious stuff. The kid thinks it's fine. I met a guy randomly at a gas station who was from UT, I think, and he's like, yeah, I'm the chemist who came up with K2. I was like, really? And he said, yeah, anytime they try to make it illegal, we just change one molecule and then put it back out there. They don't even know what they're doing.
Right.
They don't even know how those molecules are going to affect your brain. Okay, and these people start to have rage and they act really crazy, and it's really scary stuff. Pay a lot of attention.
Yeah,
it's very addictive.
And one time, you know, so our kids might go out and try it, and you could have, you know, like in the old days, a bad trip on acid. Yeah.
Except for with this, you go brain dead.
Right.
One time.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Very mad about it.
Yeah.
It's
true. In California, the legalization, I have to say a couple things. I think marijuana is a good thing for this reason. This is what I think it is. There's a lot of, the kids do have really easy access to it, but I have to say it's not out of hand. It's not creating problems. I saw an article the other day that said that in the states that legalized marijuana in the last 9 months, pain prescription are down like 40%. So 40% of the pain prescription refills are going down for medical marijuana. So it's like, folks, if you want to smoke something, let God create it. That's the line. If God created it, there's an argument there. If man created in a lab and talked to Alexis, where are you meeting these meth chemical creators?
It was just this random occurrence.
Wow.
It was just random, and I was like, oh, really? Tell me how you came up with this. Well, we saw, like, they basically put molecules together that looked similar to THC, and the guy's like, but honestly, okay, this is one of 3 guys that created this in a lab or something, supposedly what he said to me. He said, I've never smoked pot in my life. I wouldn't know if it was anything like marijuana, but I sure won't smoke that stuff either. But he's selling it, you know, and kids are buying it like crazy.
It's not expensive.
And it's
everywhere. You can get it at head shops. You can get it at gas stations. You can get it anywhere. You really can.
Huh. It's interesting. That seems crappy. Yeah. There's a lot of chemicals out there, a lot of huffing, a lot of snuffing, a lot of that weird stuff, and you really shouldn't do it.
Yeah. To kind of piggyback on that, under the drugs umbrella, our kids are also taking cough syrup with like codeine and things like that, and they're mixing it with Mountain Dews and Sprites, and they're calling them scissorps, and that's causing a lot of problems too, because, you know, codeine stops your respiration, and then you put it in there with an upper, and it's causing all kinds of interesting effects in our kids too. And you can get that out of your medicine cabinet.
And talking about medicine cabinets, I have a friend who was hospitalized, and the doctors put her on 3 different pain meds, and her son almost died because it was too easy access. It was in the medicine cabinet, and just like the commercials, he went in the medicine cabinet and didn't know how to take them responsibly in the first place, but he didn't need them, and he did an overdose on her pain medicine, and she felt so responsible, but it's almost like you almost have a safer way of putting this stuff in your home, hiding it, putting it in a jar or something where it's just not as accessible.
Absolutely. And counting your pills if you have to, you know, to double check to make sure. And I know that's horrible to think, but it would be even worse for your kid to take the wrong medicine and it cause damaging effects. Um, okay, let me tell you one that really kind of shocked me. It's called an alcohol enema. And what our kids are doing is they are sticking tubes. No, I'm serious. My mouth dropped. They are sticking tubes.
Gross.
Plastic tubes that you can get out of like Walmart up their rectums into their colons, and they're buying beers and alcohol into it. And the whole idea is that it's going to get them drunker faster, and it's going to be a better buzz. However, the problem is that in your colon, you don't have the enzyme in there to properly break down the alcohol. And so your body is absorbing all of that terrible, horrible stuff that your liver usually filters out straight into your bloodstream. And so it's deadly. It's causing huge problems. And so
so where are kids? Where when I was a kid, if we first of all, where do you find the space or privacy to give yourself an alcohol enema from your parents?
Yeah.
What is it, like out in the shed? Where do you do that?
Well, this is a trend, so kids are doing it together. It's like cool. You know, girls go to the bathroom.
Oh my God! Like with their buddies?
Boys. They're like.
Wow. Sounds kind of gay.
We gotta give these kids something to do. They're too bored. We need to take away their game or something because, like, seriously, there's nothing wrong. Beer bong. I mean, it works. You know, I mean, if you're gonna be an idiot, go do a beer bong. There's no reason to stick a tube up your butt. I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous. I mean, put your innovation to work elsewhere, kids.
Absolutely.
I actually met a guy once in college who said he was doing that, and I was just like, dude, go get some higher proof, man. You know, it's like, you want to get drunk faster, go spend some money on higher proof, better alcohol. That's what a gentleman does. They don't pour it up their ass. I'm sorry. It's just, oh, my God.
I guess it kind of speaks to letting your kids drink at home and teaching them how to drink responsibly. Because you could go over that lesson of don't stick a tube up your butt.
Son, if you want to drink. Now, this is really...
I could just see myself sitting Zane down in a few years and saying, son, if it ever comes up, you know.
Never put anything up your ass unless you're in a prison. No, I mean it like. I didn't mean it that way. I meant like that's the only. I was watching this documentary. Like that was the only place they could store their personals. It's like I could understand that, but I realize I could be wrongly interpreted. Sorry. Not a good topic. Thanks, Jen.
Absolutely.
That's gross.
Well,
I don't know. I think that's you know, if you can't, you really well, yeah, it's too fast alcohol. Here's the truth: you'll probably kill yourself because you'll put too much alcohol in you too fast if you do that.
Mm-hmm. It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You likely will die.
And the people that you're gonna wake up with, like around the bonfire, you know, that's like the ground all soaked in alcohol poop water. Those aren't really like. I'm gonna be your friend.
That's the part.
It's
gonna come back out, guys. It goes back out after you put it in. Yeah.
This is what they're doing, you guys. This is what these kids are doing. They think this is okay, and not only that, it's not just one, right? It's not just one kid doing this.
Yes, this is lots of kids. Everybody knows somebody who's doing it or has done it, which is.
Well, and it screws up your probiotics. You're going to kill off all the good bacteria.
And just watch out for that snapshot of that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because that isn't...
Yeah.
Seriously, you're not going to, like, be in a presidential debate with a picture of yourself passed out, you know, in a...
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with that. Okay.
Here's the thing. You just tell everyone, like, it's just Photoshop. It's Photoshopped. It's not me. That's your excuse. No, that'd be my excuse. Like Photoshop.
Well, so do we have any more on the list? Because that was, you know.
Enough.
Yeah, I think I've tortured it all enough. Yeah.
Yeah. It was intense. So I also want to say that I went back and found it's called SAFE, S-A-F-E, Synthetic Awareness for Emily, is the support group on Facebook that is for kids that want to get together to share their stories so they don't feel so alone, parents that want to do the same. There's a lot of support on there. Also, that's a good place to sit down with your kids and read some of these stories in case they think that they're the lucky one who maybe can try this sometime, because it only takes one time, and it's really a nightmare. So So I'm bringing that back up. It's SAFE, S-A-F-E. And yeah, well, that was a lot of fun.
Never a dull moment. But you know, part of it's being aware and knowing what your teenagers are doing, so you can have those conversations and let them know about it before their friends talk them into it.
Absolutely. Well, on a completely different note, I want to share my Mommy the Mommy. My Mommy the Mommy today is going to go back in line with the Mommies on a Budget. And this is one of my, I really like this. So Mommy the Mommy, all you have to do is have 10 minutes, maybe 15, okay? Go into your kitchen, get a little bowl, throw in some salt, pour in a little olive oil. You've got all this stuff. Put in some vanilla drops, and you have a salt scrub right there. And that salt scrub you can use from head to toe. You know, well, I don't know about your hair, pre-salt, but you know, there are easy ways, and that costs very little. And look and see what else you have in there. Yogurt masks. Those are really good for you. But it doesn't feel as luxurious as like a nice, slick, silky salt scrub. We love those. We really do. Coconut oil is great too. It costs a little bit more, but the olive oil is kind of heavy. But it works. You can use sugar too.
Ooh, I like that.
The salt is better for your face, though. If you're going to use it on your face, which you can use this on your face, you can use it everywhere. Salt is better than sugar for that. So that's my Mommy the Mommy tip for you. Go and give yourself a 15, give yourself 20 minutes, mamas. Give yourself a 20-minute spa date from your pantry.
You know, my daughter made that for me and my mom for Christmas. She got sugar and some peppermint oil and layered it in little food coloring to make it colored and put it in a little jar. And it's a sugar scrub. And she was like,
Yeah.
"Ew, you can eat it." And so, yeah, that was a good idea.
I made some once I used coconut oil and brown sugar. Orange oil, Christmas. The brown sugar and the citrus smelled really good, and a little bit of vanilla. Also, vanilla and lavender is a good combo. It's real relaxing and kind of comforting. But just have at it. Go open your pantry. I dare you. Go open your pantry and see what in there you can put on you and feel good about. You know, like seriously, there's so many things you can do. I was working, you know, I started knowing about these things because I was working in the mall and selling these things in college, and I couldn't afford them. And one day I was so frustrated about it, I opened my pantry. I was like, to hell with this. I can do this myself. Get better and better.
As you experiment. I have an idea for our mommies to kind of help relieve stress and take care of their minds. I saw an idea of using a worry list, and so I'm a big worrier, and when I think about things, I keep worrying about them, and then it just makes my stress level rise. And so this idea behind the worry list is as you're going through the day, if an idea comes up that's really worrying you, go ahead and write it down on what you would call your worry list, a piece of paper, and then tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to think about it again. And then at the end of the day, spend about 5 minutes looking over your worry list and kind of coming up with ideas of what you could do to solve those problems. And the research showed that just the idea of telling yourself that I'll worry about that at the end of the day, I'll worry about that later, and putting off that worry prevented people from worrying about it all day long constantly, and it relieved stress. And so I was like, that's a great idea.
When you're thinking about those things all day long, too, it takes so much energy. I mean, just thinking all day burns a lot of calories. It really does. It'd be nice to use it on something positive, something that's going to not be like a loop of torture. You know?
Right. And when you're calm and it's quiet, then you can come up with better solutions.
Yeah. You know, that's interesting. I was having a talk with my dad today, and this kind of came up, having stuff on your mind and worrying about stuff all the time. And I shared with him some wisdom. It's fresh on my mind because we just had this conversation. But something that I find, I do what you're talking about. when something's really bothering me and it's been a loop over and over and over again to where it's just a mess and I don't even remember what the original worry was, I write it down and then I take a deep breath and I say, what needs to be true for that to really be a problem? Now, if the worry is that you have a flat tire, that's not the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about the deep level worry, the problems, you know? What needs to be true for that to be a problem? And that's the list I make. And that's the list that saves my butt, because I'm like, okay, well, for that to be a problem, it must be true that this is even important in the first place. Usually when I get to that one, I'm like, oh, wait, this isn't even important. And then it's gone. But what I'm saying is really get down and listen to yourself and ask yourself, like, it's your perception that's the problem, not the problem itself. So I suggest also making a list of what needs to be true for that to be a problem, because then you'll laugh at it and it'll go away.
Yeah, because what you're telling yourself is so important. You know, that plays into your perception.
Yeah.
I screw with myself. I write little notes like, we're all going to die and we know it. Seriously, I do fuck with myself. Whenever I put a little note, I'll leave a little joke for myself, like to screw with myself. And that always helps me. But if I wait till the end of the day to look at all my worries, I would be very worried. There's a lot of worries. But I understand. I think that's absolutely important. Frame of mind is super important. And Master Buddha taught us that to be mindful of the heart is the way to enlightenment. So worry is definitely not the way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would guess,
for example, if you're worried about like a dog, okay, this is just a weird general example, but say, you know, there's a dog walking up from down the road, and you're worried about that dog coming after you, then what needs to be true, just so you understand what I mean by that, is what needs to be true in order for your fear to be real is that dog is more powerful than you. Okay, so that would be one. Well, okay, if in order for this to be a problem, that means that I believe that dog is more powerful than me. And then you can stop and check yourself. I believe if I'm worried about not getting that job, that means that I don't know. I don't know. Forget it. But you could kick the dog's butt, you know. So really, just let it go.
I know what you're saying. It's identifying those false beliefs that you're telling yourself, and so that makes perfect sense.
They smell the worry. I think is what you're trying to get to. Like you're gonna create an attack from the dog.
That's what I was
wondering.
And yeah, your worry actually causes it. Yeah.
You're attacking yourself, you know.
That's what you were manifesting.
All right, so we have a hot daddy this week. We've got our drum roll, Dan Davis. Yeah, and Dan Davis is our daddy of the hot daddy of the week. Hey, hubba Dan, because Dan is not only is he an amazing father to his daughter Zen, who you see on his lap there, on his knee, and he is an amazing father to her, but he's also an amazing father to pretty much any child that comes his way. So his wife Christine says that anytime they're at a party, you're not going to find him having the small talk with the grown-ups. He's out in the back playing ball with the kids and just having a good time. But one thing that's really amazing about Dan and what he does is he's calm. He's just got this calm demeanor about it, being around even babies, and so for new daddies, he just kind of invites them over and says, "Come on over and we'll hang out and you'll see how to do it. It's really easy. No, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to do it." So he's kind of like the community dad, and there are a lot of kids in the neighborhood that just kind of cling to him, and he allows it, and he's a great male figure for them. So well done, Dan. Not only being a great daddy where it counts, but where you know, just spreading the love all around to all the kids. That's really an amazing thing. So for that, we salute you as hot daddy of the week.
Yes.
Well done, Dan.
God, I love that one of the hottest things about daddies is when they're active and involved with their kids. I don't know if guys know that, but girls think that's hot to watch a guy interact with their kids or do things with their kids. And so the fact that he hangs out with all of the kids in the neighborhood and he acts as that mentor is really a cool thing.
Oh, yes. It's an ulterior motive to meet mothers. I think men do know very well what wedding rings and babies do to girls.
Oh, wedding rings, you're picking up the wrong chicks. Just no.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, chicks flock to it. It doesn't matter. You could be trying or not. I was married at the time. Like, I'm saying it's a trick. I'm just like, women and those rings and those babies, you ladies, just babies and rings.
Yeah, I've had major crushes on guys just from seeing how well they were with their kids, or how great they were with their kids. Definitely, it's definitely hot. It's one of the hottest things out there. So just keep doing it, dads. And Dan, we salute you. Well done. And Zen's a lucky daughter. And thank you, Christine Salzar, for sending that in to us. If you know a hot daddy who deserves to be honored here on Modern Mommies, send a pic and a short reason why to sgmodernmommies@gmail.com. We'd love to honor them. So send those photos in. Thanks, Christine. And thanks, Dan. Well done, sir.
Yes.
So that about wraps us up for this show today. We've covered a lot of interesting stuff. I'm a little bit scarred from our episode today, but definitely I'm gonna make a blog to cover some of those things that we went over today. I definitely want to cover that synthetic marijuana story a little bit deeper because that's a big deal. But if you know anybody that needs some support with that, go to SAFE, the SAFE page on Facebook. And we're so glad that you joined us. Mary, it was wonderful having you on today. Mary Neva.
It was great being here.
We've missed you. We're glad you're back.
Oh, thank you. It's so good to be back.
And Christopher, wonderful having you with us as well.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you, ladies.
And Jennifer Perry.
Absolutely.
It is always a pleasure to hang out with you here on our Google Chats, Google Plus Hangouts. So we're here live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central here on tweettalk.tv. And so we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. Until then, live, love, be.